When does a child ever really stop being mothered by her mom? I can look around the room and see some raised eyebrows of the mothers that know all too well that they could never stop mothering their children. And I'm sure if I look harder, I could see the cool smiles on those mothers that subscribe to the notion of pushing their children out of the nest in order to fly. Mothering has such a sensitive litmus test. Am I being pampering or passive? Nurturing or coddling? The answer to the question lies really only with the mother. My mother stopped mothering me on February 4th, 2006. It was the day that she decided to end her own life. And not only did the mothering end, but my world stopped. When I got the call, alone in my college dorm room, I laid still on the floor for hours. I thought maybe, if I did nothing, I would not have to tell anyone this terrible news. No one would ever find me, and my world would be constant forever. And she would still mother me. I was so sure that she had written me a letter. In my gut, I knew that she had written me the letter that all surviving loved ones get. Written by hand on beautiful stationery, my name scrolled across the top in her signature cursive. In it, she would tell me the reasons why she could no longer stay on this earth. I'd read how she'd want me to take care of my siblings, how I'd fall in love, and how she would look down on me from heaven on my wedding day and bless me. How she knew that I'd be a great mother. But most of all, the letter would tell me how truly, deeply, outrageously sorry she is for leaving us. I get to read it over and over again, memorizing it line for line, carrying it around with me always. The letter would let me know that I was always mothered. I found out such a letter did not exist. For 6 years, I felt abandoned. Every day, I questioned her motives and tried to find a way to grieve her. As the years ticked by, I worried that my head might become so filled with my own experiences that I would forget our many intimate moments. But then, one day, I found a trunk of my mother's journals. Decades of her life and thoughts, all chronicled on paper. They are written in her signature rounded cursive. Each time I opened one to read, I started with a prayer and ended in tears, and I realized that that's the way that she began and ended all of her own writing, with prayers to God for peace, but ending in anguished tears. In between her painful writings, I found many messages to her children, her musings on how much we meant to her. You see, I was expecting a letter written in the twilight of her last moments, but what I have is a much greater gift. I have the privilege of reading about how much she thought of me during every phase of her life, how her love for me changed, grew, was challenged, almost lost, but never ended. Many of her experiences mirrored my own life. When I was newly engaged, I envied my friends that had their mothers to count on to plan their wedding, attending every appointment and dress fitting. And then I discovered the only journal entry my mother penned about her own nuptials in 1982. She wrote in all caps, "Wedding plans loom in the future. I love it!" Exclamation point. And somehow, I could hear her saying those words aloud, hands clasped, in exhilaration for me. I fell asleep soundly that night, feeling mothered. I realized that after my mother died, I thought that our relationship was over because I was always looking to the future for my answers, when in the past, in reality, my mother's past is a treasure trove full of mothering. I am my mother's daughter. Her pain, strength, endurance, weakness, and love pump all through my veins. All of those attributes, some of them confused as flaws, made her the perfect amalgam of a mother for me. Nearly a decade later, her words on those pages still comfort me as I deal with the everyday joys and challenges of being a wife and a stepmom to 2 small children. Regardless of what your children say, they never really want to stop being mothered. We always want our mothers. I cannot visit my mother in heaven, but I know that she's there because I have these journals to prove to me that her soul deserved a resting place of peace and light. While she's no longer with me in a physical sense, her words are everlasting. Like a cosmic pen pal for all of my experiences yet to come, she's left a way to mother me eternally.